Erev Tov, Shabbat Shalom. First of all, I'll start with a thank you to all of you, this community, for welcoming me here this evening, especially Rabbi Adam Spiker and my friend Shai, which seems to be part of the theme of 5th grade today, because Shai and I go back as friends to 5th grade when we met, so it's definitely the theme of today. I also want to take this opportunity that I've been using a few times this week, meeting different communities here in the US, to thank you for all the support in the past year. It's been felt. It's been felt that in the very, very difficult year that we've all been going through, we've been feeling this amazing support coming from all around, the communities from all around the world. Like the rabbi said, I spent over 230 days in active reserve duty, and I'm going back when I come back from this trip. But it's really important for me to say that we really felt this feeling, standing there, even in the first week of October, with this feeling that Am Yisrael is behind us. And that was felt in the prayers and in the support and in everything that was done. And especially since I know that, and I've been hearing as well this week about how difficult it's been in the communities themselves around the world, with the spike in anti-Semitic attacks and rhetoric around the world. And it seems to me that if the people that want to, some of them destroy us and some of them just delegitimize our identity and who we are, if that drives us even more together, then we're doing the right thing to respond that. So that's just an opening. When I'm not playing soldier in Gaza and Lebanon and other places around the border of Israel, I am head of the secular yeshiva, the Yeshiva Chilonit. Chilonit doesn't exactly mean secular. I might go into that a bit later with a group in Limud, have a bit more in-depth into that. But we do study Torah in our Yeshiva Chilonit in Tel Aviv, in South Tel Aviv, where you're all welcome on your next visit to Israel. And what we do there is we try and find in the Torah things that are relevant to our day-to-day life as Jews, as Israelis. And in this Parsha, Parashat Vayera, that we're reading this week, there's definitely a lot to take in. Vayera is the main block of Abrahamic stories. Abraham, the kind of the father of the nation, the father of the monotheistic religions, and Judaism among them. And it kind of follows a lot of his stories. And in between those stories, there's one of my favorites. I like to call it the Big Haggle. The Big Haggle, and it happens after the three angels are visiting in the tent, and they're being hosted very nicely, like Jews know how to host people, a lot of food involved. And they're eating and they're drinking, and that's the whole story when they tell him that Isaac will be born, and Sarah laughs. But a really interesting happens when the angels are leaving. The angels are leaving, and I'll read here from the text. And the men now turned away and went towards Sodom, while Abraham remained standing before the Eternal. Abraham then came towards the Eternal, forward and said, "Will you indeed sweep away the innocent along with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 innocent in a city. Will you indeed sweep away the place and not spare it for the sake of 50 innocent who are in its midst? Far be it from you to do such a thing, killing innocent and wicked alike, so that the innocent and the wicked suffer the same fate. Far be it from you. Must not the judge of all the earth do justly?" The Eternal One said, If I find 50 innocent people in Sodom, I will pardon the whole place for their sake. So let's just unpack what we just had there. The angels are going to head to Sodom and Gomorrah, to Sodom and Gomorrah, the big symbol of kind of evil. And he says that he's going to check out if what he heard about the place is true. He's heard bad things about Sodom, and he's going to see if it's right. Examine it, and if it's true what he heard, then he's going to destroy it. That's at least what most interpreters make of that. And Abraham stays standing there and starts arguing, I don't know, just like in the market. This is why I call it the big haggle. He's just haggling with him on how many tzaddikim. Tzaddikim is translated here into innocence. That's a possible translation. Tzaddikim can be righteous, tzaddikim can be innocent, but how many tzaddikim are worth saving the city from destruction? And they're haggling with this, and Abraham gets in the kind of 50, but he doesn't stop there. He continues down and brings God down from 50 to 45, from 45 to 40, from 40 to 30, from 30 to 20 to 20 to 10, and he stops at a minyan, he stops at 10. 10 innocent. And it's a whole long paragraph in the Torah dedicated to this kind of market-style haggle, which has always got me ever from the first time thing. And Abraham is making his claim so passionately, trying to convince God. And not only is this a weird thing in general in the Torah, it doesn't even go in line with the rest of the way Abraham conducts himself with God. Lech lecha me'artzecha mimoladetcha mibet avicha. Go forth from your home, your homeland, from wherever you know to a new place. He gets up, take his stuff, and go. Kach et bincha et yichidcha asher ahavta ve'aleu leolah. Take your son Isaac, who you love, and sacrifice him. Next morning, packs the donkeys up, takes the packed lunch, and heads on the way with Isaac. So this even doesn't, it's not consistent with the way we know Abraham from the stories. I think that for me, the meaning of this passage is different. It's about ancient, age-old difficulty of how to face evil and the complexity of facing evil. I can't stop from going back in my mind to the first week of that dreaded October on the still smoking villages and kibbutzim and cities of the Western Negev, and understanding we're in a moment like that, when we're facing evil, not just a personal evil or one, something that was unimagined to deal with. And standing there and understanding how complicated this is going to be. And I think that ever since then, for a whole year, and maybe long more to come, we've been struggling, this ancient struggle that we see in this text, of how do we destroy evil, and how do we try doing that in line with our morals and our traditions and the things that make us human, the things that make us who we are, our Jewish values. It's complicated. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all, and this is because at the end, first of all, we're not God. When we don't know everything, we don't control everything. When we prayed for the safety of non-combatants, that was a real thing. That's a real thing that, I'll tell you, soldiers above all do themselves. The last thing you want is for somebody who shouldn't be involved to be involved, but it's so messy, it's so complicated to do that. And we see it kind of brings a new light on why so much was dedicated. It's not even got to do with Avraham. It's got to do with how you deal with evil in the world. Because Sodom and Gomorrah needed to be destroyed. And at the end, they were destroyed. And the story does, in the limud that we'll have afterwards, those who join us, then we'll unpack this a bit more and look at the way it was done. But here, I think that one of the ways, or one of the themes that I look for when I'm coming to understand this Parsha and understand its message has got to do at the end with, to do something so difficult, to do something so complicated, you need to have also the ending of the Parsha, which is the Akedah. As a humanistic, liberal Jew, Akedat Yitzchak isn't an easy thing to kind of stomach. It's never been. The idea of human sacrifices is so far from us. But I think that when I take that word, hakrava, sacrifice, and take it even to its modern meaning, there's something there that I understand more. Because when there's something worthwhile, when there's something true, then it requires also sacrifices. I've sacrificed many days of my year, time with my girls. I have 2 young daughters, aged 3 and 6. You can imagine that more than 230 days when I wasn't there, what that meant for them, what that meant for them. I've sacrificed hundreds of thousands of people that have left their homes and are still not able to go back to their homes right now. I've sacrificed quite literally lives. Just in the past few days, we have brought to Kever Israel, we have brought to burial another 6 soldiers that died in the battle in Lebanon, combating the evil there. That is sacrifice. It's Akedat Yitzchak. It's very difficult to face that because we would want to live in a world that doesn't require sacrifice. We would want to live in a world without new representations of evil like Sodom and Gomorrah. But that's not the reality, and we need to live in this reality. It's a precondition to rebuilding. We'll discuss also in the shiur a bit more, those who stay, the idea of rebuilding. How do we rebuild out of destruction like this? But one of the things I'm looking forward to when I go back to the army, to my job, one of my favorite projects that's waiting for me on my desk when I come back is we're doing community spiritual work with 10 villages in the Western Negev to help them rebuild their communities. And it's been so important for me to remember that, even if that's not part of my day-to-day life right now as a soldier, because it reminds me that though we're doing something that might be necessary, we want our kochot nefesh, our powers inside, to be dedicated to rebuilding, to remind ourselves that that's what we want to do in this world. So I invite those who want later to join us for a limud. We'll go into this a bit more, also a few more things in the theme of the Parsha and the ideas of rebuilding. But for now, thank you again all for hosting me, and Shabbat Shalom.